The Rugby World Cup is a moment in time when teams and fans get together. As the excitement builds and nations prepare to leave it all on the field, that special time comes when everyone starts speculating. One of the greatest things about rugby is that everyone can have an opinion. Join us today as we share our predictions, taking inspiration from past and present results to find out who we think would make it into the playoffs. The race for global rugby supremacy has never been more fierce, and teams are ready to change the record books whilst etching their names on the Webb Ellis trophy. Old foes reunite in Pool A. Plenty of attention is on Pool A, and the host nations find themselves entrenched in this pool at almost every World Cup. For the 2023 iteration of the Webb Ellis trophy, old foes New Zealand and France are set to square off. To cap this off, Le Bleu would be facing the men from the South Pacific in the World Cup opener at St. Denis. With such a rich history between these nations, having played each other no fewer than 6 times at the Rugby World Cup, it is currently the All Blacks that hold a 4-2 record over the men from Paris. In the more recent history, the French have managed to overcome the All Blacks in New Zealand, but matches between the two nations have been few and far between. With the rest of the pool being made up of Namibia, Italy and Uruguay, it's safe to say that regardless of who wins the first match, France and New Zealand should proceed. With such an impressive record, and with France only beating the All Blacks in the playoff stages, we would like to believe that New Zealand would come out triumphant. An undefeated 2023 Rugby Championship has surely bolstered their confidence and set the All Blacks up for the best possible chance of progressing. Our prediction to advance? New Zealand and France. The Pool of Death. Pool B. One thing the Rugby World Cup never fails to deliver is the Pool of Death. Each year, a pool is formed which consists of 3 nations that could beat each other on any given day. For the 2023 show of champions, Ireland, South Africa and Scotland find themselves battling out in this pool. Currently ranked number 1 and 2 in the world, many would easily give the honours to the 2 nations playing in green. However, Scotland is not a far cry from proceeding, and has found itself ranked as the 5th best rugby nation going into the tournament. Add to this the ferocious power and size coming from Tonga, with the likes of Malakai Fakatoa and Charles Piutau, and you'll certainly have a pool that could conjure up something unexpected. As for who would make it through, the Irish and the Springboks have been sublime in the 2022-23 season. Aside from Ireland wrapping up a historic Grand Slam during the Six Nations tournament, the Boks have missed out twice by narrow margins on sealing the Rugby Championship. In recent encounters, both the Springboks and Irish have overcome the Scottish outfit, albeit by narrow margins. We would believe that with enough fuel in the tank, both green outfits should overcome the men from Murrayfield, leaving the group winner to be decided when they finally clash. Since the Irish have made improvements to their 2019 team, and with Josh van der Fleer currently in exceptional form, we cannot help but think that Ireland might sneak one past the team from Africa. However, both teams should comfortably progress after seeing off Romania and Tonga by large margins. Our prediction to advance? Ireland and South Africa. The clash of gold and red, Pool C. Moving out of the Pool of Death, little to no attention is given by the media to what could happen in Pool C. The pool is certainly one that could prove pivotal to how the finals end up when everything is said and done. A closer look into Pool C shows us that Australia and Wales will find themselves vying out for the number 1 spot. Both teams have been riding a rollercoaster of form, with Wales losing all but 1 game during the 2023 season. Fortunately, the Wallabies would not let the Welsh suffer alone, and as of this video, Australia has failed to win a game in the 2023 season. Perhaps we have a battle for the wooden spoon on our hands. But as the Springboks have shown us in 2019, it is the World Cup that matters, and winning the Webb Ellis trophy erases all bad results in the years prior. The Welsh have managed to get the better of the Wallabies on 2 occasions in World Cup matches, with the first being in 1987 and the most recent being a 29-25 victory in 2019. Since then, both teams have won a game against the other, with the Wallabies being the latest winner at the Millennium Stadium in 2022. Thanks to the genius of Eddie Jones, we firmly believe Australia will rebound and peak during the World Cup, knocking over the Welsh and putting up stiff resistance to whoever they meet in the quarterfinals. The rest of the pool should not be a massive challenge, with Fiji, Georgia and Portugal having almost no victories over these top-tier nations. Prediction to advance? Australia and Wales. A hidden pool of death perhaps? Pool D. Why do we always get goosebumps when the land of the samurai takes to the field? Whether you are South African, Australian, or hail from the United Kingdom, we all have a soft spot for the Japanese nation. Grouped in Pool D, we find the men from the Asian nation plying their traits against a formidable Argentine team and 2019 World Cup runners-up England. Whilst the Lions have had some struggles since the departure of Eddie Jones, many believe them to have fixed some of the issues and politics plaguing the team. As for Los Pumas, the South American nation is always filled with passion and drive when they take to the field. From the tears of Augustin Pichot in 2007 that saw them overcome a French onslaught, not once but twice, we cannot help but wonder how this would play out in 2023. In recent years, Argentina has had the number of both England and Japan, overcoming both by narrow margins but taking away the victory. With these two teams so closely matched, and the variable Japanese always capable of causing an upset, we cannot help but wonder if victories over Chile and Samoa by massive margins might have the pool decided on bonus points and points difference. Going on recent form, we firmly believe Argentina would upset England, going on to breeze through the rest of the pool unbeaten and solidifying a quarter-final berth. Prediction to advance: Argentina and England. A knockout stage for the ages. Before we get ahead of ourselves, we'll stop this video at the quarter-final stages. We predict the following 4 games would most likely end up as the layout for the start of the knockout stages. The All Blacks would square off with old foes South Africa. Ireland will have to overcome France for the second time in 2023. Australia will have to endure arch nemesis England. And Argentina will need to make it through a resilient Welsh team. But who do you think will top the pool stages, and which upsets could occur in 2023? Make sure to let us know in the comments section.